In the morning is when cortisol levels are highest. That's just our natural circadian rhythms dictate that. So that's why I was always a big believer of doing, like growth hormone, your injections in the morning to try to counteract some of that, catabolic effect of cortisol. Now, cortisol is important because when your blood sugar drops, there's two hormones that can raise blood sugar. Glucagon, which is produced by your pancreas, kind of does the opposite of insulin. It takes whatever glucose to store or glycogen storage in the muscles or livers, and it liberates it. It turns it into glucose, puts it into the bloodstream, raises blood sugar. Cortisol, which is produced by the adrenal glands, can raise blood sugar, but it does it by a different mechanism. It takes amino acids, and usually in the liver, a little bit in the kidneys, and it converts it into glucose. That's known as gluconeogenesis. So it's actually making new glucose that was never around. Whereas glucagon takes existing stored glucose and liberates it. So they work by different mechanisms. So you don't want to have zero cortisol because it's a safety net in your body. In other words, your liver is always monitoring, and your pancreas for that matter, how much blood glucose is in there. When you're sleeping at night, a lot of times, your blood glucose can drop. That's when cortisol raises blood sugar while you're sleeping. That's why people who don't have good blood sugar control notice when they wake up in the morning, their fasting blood sugars can be high, okay? Because their bodies can't manage, because think about it, when you produce glucose into the bloodstream, the pancreas has to release insulin so you can absorb that glucose. If your insulin production is not optimal, for whatever reason, you're taking growth hormone, your pancreas is stressed out, maybe it's a little burnt out, you might be, bordering on diabetes, you're not gonna be able to have good blood sugar control. So, to get back to the question, cortisol is important, but we don't want excessive amounts of it in the body. If you enjoyed this little clip, click the link below to watch the entire show.